What's up guys, it's Dwayne from Mountain Buck. Today I'm checking out the Stealth Cam Revolver Pro 360 cellular trail camera. I am a huge fan of the Revolver series of trail camera because I think they are the best trail camera you could put in your food plot or your field. You set this thing down in the middle of that field and it's gonna capture 360 degrees around it. It is like 6 cameras in one. Now I did a really comprehensive review of the regular Revolver. You can check that video out right there. And I put in over 12 hours of work in there, making sure I broke down all the features and elements of that camera. So if you guys could hook me up and hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Getting to the Pro version here, this is an upgrade to that regular Revolver trail camera. It has 40 megapixel photos, 1440p videos, 100-foot detection range, and if this thing functions the same way that that regular Revolver did, I'm gonna say this is the best trail camera you can get this year. I'm gonna show you at the end of the video if that's the case, so let's get into this thing and find out if it's the best. Here is the Revolver Pro right out of the packaging, and check out this design here. You have these 6 motion detection panels up top going all the way around, and how they work is if they detect motion in any one of those panels, this lens in here is going to rotate, capture the image or the video, and then rotate back. So you have basically 6 trail cameras in one here, capturing all the action. The lens down here is gonna rotate through 6 different zones, 1 through 6. You have the IR LEDs down here for nighttime shots and videos. You have an antenna up here, which is going to capture both major networks, Verizon and AT&T. Dual SIM antenna goes on the top there. You have a 12-volt plug here for a solar panel or external battery. I do think it would be a good idea to have a solar panel mounted on this. I'll show you some options later on with the mounting pole that I really like. Back around here, you have the strap for the tree, and yes, you can mount this to a tree. You can still capture everything in front of the camera 180 degrees, or mount it to a post and you can capture 360 degrees around it. There's some options on here to mount this to a T-post, which we'll get to in a second. You also have in here a hole for the Python cable, and you also have basic thread mounts on the bottom here as well. Let's open this guy up. So inside here, you have a basic on-off switch. You have a slot for a standard size SD cards. You have some little LED light indicators showing you the status of the camera. And then you have these cool little battery cartridges here, which are kind of different. They have these in the other Revolver as well, but actually I think they're kind of cool. These things take 16 AA batteries, so I'm gonna go ahead and install them right now. Over here in the door, you have the status light indicator legend so you can understand what's going on with your camera. And you can scan that QR code to activate it in your Command Pro app. Load your batteries up just like that. Let's see what else is in the box. As mentioned, here is our dual SIM antenna. We're just gonna install this right on the top just like this. Nice and easy setup. You get a quick start guide. You also get a Stealth Cam decal here. Here is a 12-volt plug extension. You could plug this into your 12-volt port there to put in a solar panel. You of course get a strap for the tree, and you get some T-post mounting hardware here to mount this thing to a T-post if you have one of those set up. Let's get this thing connected up to our app and check the settings. It's very easy to add this camera to your Command Pro app. Click that plus sign and scan the QR code. The camera is now activating. Next, we insert batteries, the SD card, and power on the camera. Okay, hit next and format your SD card. Power on your camera. Click next after your camera is registered. It will ask you to set the direction where you have your camera positioned. They make it easy to select the plan right from your Command Pro app. Add your payment information and your plan will be updated. You'll now see the camera available from your app. Click that little down arrow to access settings. Select your upload frequency. The more times you choose, the more battery it will use. I'm going with twice a day to conserve the batteries for now. Schedule your upload time here. Choose capture mode. I'll discuss the different modes in a bit. Select your photo resolution, and we are jacking that thing all the way up to 40 megapixels. Here's where you select your active zones. Just tap on the zones you want to enable. Zone 2 is directly in front of the camera. You can set that PIR delay from just a couple seconds all the way to an hour. I'm leaving that PIR sensitivity on high, and you can reduce the blur for night shots as well. Here's where you can select to get on-demand photos. Keep in mind that this setting will also impact battery life. DVR mode will write over old photos on your SD card with new ones so you don't miss anything. Format your memory card here. You can share access to this camera here, so if you have a buddy or family member you want to check out your photos and videos, here's where you'll invite them. All right, our Revolver Pro is activated and ready to go. Let's get this thing outside and run some tests. All right, our Revolver Pro is all set, and I really like these stealth cam mounting poles because you could drop this thing right in the middle of your food plot or field and have access to everything around you in that 360 degrees. These mounting poles also provide a spot for a solar panel, which I think is definitely important when you're working with a cellular trail camera, especially one that rotates the camera lens around to take pictures. So I love the stealth cam mounting pole here. Nice little solution for this particular camera. I think they are the perfect pairing. I have the link to this item in the description below as well. So we are out here ready to do some tests here. The first test we are going to do out here is the image quality, image clarity test. The Revolver Pro has a 40 megapixel camera. So what I do for this is I hold up an eye chart very similar to the one you have at your optometrist office. To test your vision, I stand about 15 feet in front of the camera and see how sharp and clear those images are. Next up is my trigger speed test. Now this camera has a 0.3 second trigger speed on the box. Online it says 0.4, less than 0.4 seconds. So we're around a 0.3, 0.4 second trigger speed. The way I do this test is I set up about 10 yards in front of me where that cone is, run right by and see how quickly this camera is going to capture me. So one thing to note about the Revolver Pro that is way different from the Revolver is when you select a zone. I only have this activated in zone 2, which is straight in front of the camera. Here's zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, and zone 6. So in zone 2 is straight ahead of the camera. With the regular Revolver, the camera always rotates back to zone 1 before it goes to zone 2 or whatever to capture it. The Pro version here is going to rotate to that zone and then stay there. So this trigger speed test should prove much more valuable than the Revolver because the Revolver had to rotate and then take the picture and it didn't capture me. Let's see how the Revolver Pro does. Next up is our detection range test. Now this camera has a 100-foot detection range, and how I do this test is I have 4 cones set up back there behind me. First one's at 10 yards, then 20, then 30, then all the way out at 33 yards to see if we can capture that 100-foot detection range. I walk by each one at a nice leisurely pace and see how far out this camera's gonna capture me. All right, so we just tested this camera out in PIR photo mode with only zone 2 activated directly in front of the camera. Next, we're gonna switch over to PIR 360 mode and PIR 360 video mode. We're gonna drop this thing right in the middle of the field out there, which is exactly the purpose for this style camera. Put it right out in the middle of your field or your food plot so you can capture all the action around you up to 100 feet. So let's get that set up. We are set in the middle of this field and our Revolver Pro is all set on 360 photo mode. And how this mode works is once it detects motion in any one of those 6 zones, I have all 6 zones activated. Once it detects motion, it's going to go and take a picture of that zone, and it will take a picture of every other zone, all other 5 zones, so you get a complete picture of what's going on in your food plot or your field. How I'm gonna do this test is I have my 4 cones set up, 20 yards as a perimeter. I'm gonna walk in a circle all the way around and let this thing capture me in every single zone. Let's check it out. Next up is our video test. Now this camera shoots 1440p video, a really nice high def video quality. We're gonna do the same thing, walk around this camera at 20 yards in a big circle, and this camera is going to rotate to wherever motion is detected and take a 10-second video clip in that zone. Let's check it out. All right, we are walking through our video test, and that's it for our tests out here. Let's check that footage and see how the Revolver Pro 360 performed. Here's the image clarity test on this 40 megapixel camera, and this was done with the HD image that I requested from the app. We could see pretty clearly down to line 8 or 9 when we zoom in. Here are the video results, and it's a bit more blurry here, but keep in mind, you will have better image and video quality if you pull that SD card. Here are the results of our trigger speed test, and this camera with its 0.3 to 0.4 second trigger caught me well before mid-frame there, so that is an impressive 0.3 or so trigger on this camera. For the detection range, the Revolver Pro caught me at every single marker all the way out to 33 yards, so it's true to its 100-foot detection range. In my 360 photo test, the camera caught me in each zone all the way around the camera at 20 yards. You can see it has a target there where it caught me in zone 1, and then you can click through and see what's going on in every other zone as well. The cool thing about this is that StealthCam counts all 6 of those photos as one photo for your plan, so you aren't getting charged for 6 shots. I'm showing the Command Pro app through my phone here in these next few segments, so the image quality isn't as good as the real thing. Here's the PIR video test. It recorded 10-second video clips of me walking around the camera in each zone. They give you a 3-image animated GIF to preview the video, and then you can request to download the 10-second video if you want. This is how the PIR photo mode works. It will only take photos of movement in the zone where the movement takes place. Pretty cool in this series to track the deer coming in at zone 3, working their way to zone 2 directly in front of the camera, and then moving on out through zone 1. The camera doesn't miss a thing. Here's an example of the daytime image quality. Those fawns are looking nice and sharp with their spots here. And here's another example with this doe. Nice quality image right from the app, and then here's the HD version I requested. Here's a side-by-side comparison where I've blown up the standard version and the HD version so you can see the difference in quality. Here's the nighttime image quality. Always nice to see a decent buck rolling in. And here is another close-up example. And then here's the HD version of the same photo. Here's the side-by-side comparison with the HD version on the right. Here's the daytime video quality. Good quality video on these 10-second videos. Here's the nighttime video quality, and you can see that little fox pop up. Now let's listen to the audio here for a second. Here's the IR that your camera will put off for those nighttime photos and videos, and this IR strip of course goes all the way around the camera. Over the course of my test period, the Revolver Pro took 283 images and 48 10-second videos. The battery is still full, which is nice as this camera has to spend energy rotating that camera around. Now, it would be nice to have a numerical battery life indicator as we don't know if these 4 bars represent 76, 86, or 96%, but I'm still happy with that battery life. So there it is, the StealthCam Revolver Pro 360 cellular trail camera. This thing shoots 40 megapixel photos, 1440p videos, 100-foot detection range. This thing is like 6 cameras in one. This is the ultimate food plot or field cellular trail cam. You stick this thing down in the middle of that food plot or field and you will capture all the action. And I think this is the best camera to come out this year. As always, the links as we talk about are in the description below. Guys, get yourself some killer mountain buck gear like one of these sweet hunt shirts. Do me a favor, hook me up and hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.